starting with offensive player of the game in this one, kind of alluded to it in my prize picks as well, so I'm going to stick with him. I think it's Blake Corum. He really was he was tough for them to stop last year. He didn't break any big runs in that game, but it was just over and over and over. 7 yards here, 6 yards there, 13 yards. He scored a couple touchdowns, one on a rush, one on kind of a little forward pitch as well. And I think it's going to be really tough for this young Michigan State defense, true freshman playing a lot of middle linebacker, freshman at corner, that sort of thing, to get Blake Corum down. So I think we're going to see him have a really nice game.
I think it's going to be J.J. McCarthy. I just think you're going to see him with his arm and his feet. I think he's the guy that's probably going to run for over 50 yards in this game, keeping the ball some more than he would. And that is pretty, let's be honest, it's a pretty porous secondary for Michigan State. I think he should be able to throw on them. So that's my pick.
Last week, Clayton told me that his brother wished that I would lift the curse from Donovan Edwards. And so I officially would like to say the curse has been lifted. He's found the end zone for the first time. I'm not going to pick him to be offensive player of the game the rest of the year. I guarantee that. It won't come off my lips. So it will come in the form of Colston Loveland this week.
All right.
Okay. My brother did. So he texted me that during the game last week, and then Donovan scored shortly thereafter. And he said that's partly why he texted it. It was to, reverse jinx it back. So he's taking partial credit for Donovan getting in the end zone, but I'm sure he'll be happy to learn that the curse is lifted. Defensively, defensive player of the game, I got Rod Moore. He had the pick against MSU last year. I think it's kind of part of what we talked about with Jesse Minter's defense being tough to play against, but guys like Rod Moore from the safety spot, where he can kind of bait you into making a throw. You may think you're seeing one thing, but you're seeing another. He's going to be, kind of that X factor. I think he's going to be around the ball on Saturday.
I think you're going to see Chris Jenkins have a big game. I think he's going to break out. And it's funny, everybody says, "Oh, he's not putting up big numbers." You're not supposed to put big numbers from that position, but he's done a great job. I think we're going to see him get some interior pass rush this week. I think he's going to have himself a game.
This is the best players in Michigan go to Michigan pick of the year. Will Johnson will be this week's player of the game. Couple pick. Well, I'll say one pick.
Okay.
Couple's a bold prediction.
Couple's a bold prediction.
There you go.
It's possible. It's possible. Final score. I got 36-6. It depends on how things start, but even then, I think Michigan, like we saw against Indiana, I saw somebody post a screenshot, and it's funny to look back at now, but I think there was 4:36 left in the second quarter. And there's a screenshot of the Michigan sideline, Harbaugh's hands on the knees. It's 7-7 against Indiana. The game ended up 52-7. So, even if you don't start super fast, and that was a really bad start for Michigan, let's be clear about that. I think you can still win pretty big in this game. I just don't see the Michigan State offense being able to put up points. And I think Michigan will put up enough, not a crazy number, but I think they're going to be able to get it done pretty comfortably.
I've got Michigan 34-13. I think, they'll, it'll be methodical, just like it has been much of the year. You know what? Start out and wear them down by the fourth quarter. I think they're going to have that game in control.
I have Michigan winning 45-9. Well, I'm not used to being the guy with the biggest margin of victory here. I think that Jonathan Kim is arguably one of Michigan State's best players.
He's their best Kim.
He is their best Kim. That's fact. Has a big leg. I think that they'll put some drives together, and they're going to want to put points on the board, even if it's a couple sad field goals late in the game to avoid a shutout. So, 45-9 Michigan.
Yeah, he hit the 58-yarder against Iowa, so they have a good kicker. They do. They did not last year. They were going for those fourth downs against Michigan, and that Michigan defense ate. No man knows the future. Our final segment, we do have a fantastic game. We could argue, do we like night games? Do we not like night games? For us, we got to stay up super late into the night. But one of the benefits is being able to watch basically the entire Penn State at Ohio State game. Ohio State 4.5-point favorite in Columbus, over under 45.5. More than anything, I'm excited to see what happens in this game, but I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the team not coached by James Franklin to cover the 4.5 points, but I really have no clue, and I'm just more than anything excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I think something like 27-18, 20, something like that. 24-17 in that area. I think Ohio State wins.
I said it earlier in the week. I think someone's getting blowed out on Saturday, and I think it's going to be Penn State. So give me the Buckeyes.
Okay. Scares me a little bit. We're all on them now
Right.
at this point. Duke at Florida State. Florida State 14.5-point favorites, over under 49. Duke with a very good defense. This is another one where I'm just, okay, Florida State's number 4. They're a playoff contender. I want to see how they look in this game. I'm gonna go Duke. I just feel like it's their year to be playing all these Titans close and winning some of these games. I don't know if they'll win it, but I think they'll keep it pretty close.
I don't think Duke is ready for that on the road against Florida State, a team with better team speed and playmakers. I think Florida State wins this game by more than the 14.5.
Florida State, Keon Coleman goes off on a day where Michigan State wishes he'd named him.
That'd be kind of funny. Couple ugly games to close us off, because there are some implications if you look at potential tiebreakers down the road. But Minnesota at Iowa. AB, you mentioned this game earlier. Iowa 3.5-point favorite, over under 31.5. We thought the one of 33 points last week was low. This is 31.5. Minnesota, because it doesn't really make sense, or I don't know.
Yeah, so weird, right? Eric All's out now. They just lost one of their better offensive weapons. So I'm with you. I think Minnesota wins this one, 6-2.
Oh, God. Just to be different, I'll take Iowa, I guess. I think if I was actually going to put money on this game, I'd probably dip that point total down to 26.5 or something like that. God, just so hard to watch.
It really is. This one will be tough to watch as well. Wisconsin at Illinois. Illinois,
Wow.
a 2.5-point favorite. That actually may be wrong. Let me check on that. But someone else talk about Wisconsin.
I'll give you my pick regardless. Wisconsin.
Me too.
Okay.
I think Illinois is a joke, and I don't know how they won at Maryland. Other than Maryland can be a joke at times when when they're expected to win and they choke like they did at home. I think Wisconsin goes in there and wins by a good 10 points.
I like Wisconsin in this one as well, and so does Vegas. I got that wrong on the screen there, so that's my bad. Wisconsin is a 2.5-point favorite at Illinois. I like them. I still think Illinois is terrible, regardless of what happened last week against Maryland, and Wisconsin's maybe not as bad as they've looked at different points this year.